Jennifer Lawrence and Robert Pattinson star in Die My Love, a ferocious portrait of a woman engulfed by love and madness. Lawrence and Pattinson play a passionate couple who, after moving to an isolated house in the country, find their relationship unraveling following the birth of their first child. Vanity Fair hails Lawrence's performance as astonishing, and Time calls it the kind of performance you go to the movies for. From director Lynn Ramsey, Die My Love is only in theaters November 7th, rated R.
Hey, Ryan Reynolds here from Mint Mobile. Now, I don't know if you've heard, but Mint's premium wireless is $15 a month. But I'd like to offer one other perk. We have no stores. That means no small talk. Crazy weather we're having. No, it's not. It's just weather. It is an introvert's dream. Give it a try at mintmobile.com/switch.
Upfront payment of $45 for 3-month plan, $15 per month equivalent required. New customer offer first 3 months only. Then full price plan options available. Taxes and fees extra. See mintmobile.com.
Hi, I'm Kit.
And I'm Rory.
And we're from the award-winning podcast, This Paranormal Life.
Every week, we investigate a different paranormal case.
On episode 387, we actually had Emma from Real Life Ghost Stories on the pod. Huge fan favourite episode.
Sorry, is that it?
I thought that was the whole investigation.
So he could be German. We actually don't know.
Oh, he could be!
It was a great one, and we are also performing live across the UK and Ireland with our hilarious and terrifying live show, where we listen to real ghost stories submitted by the public, and they are insane.
I have to tell you something.
Dark hooded figure standing at the gate.
She insists I didn't see anything.
Brr, very spooky. We are coming to Glasgow, Manchester, Dublin, and London, starting on the 28th of October, running through Halloween.
It's a great way to celebrate Halloween, so get your costumes ready and grab a ticket at thisparanormallife.com/tour.
That's thisparanormallife.com/tour.
Hello and welcome to 31 Days of Terror 2025, and we are on day number 28, and I have 2 spooky stories for you today, and the first story comes from Ella. I come from a family with a very deep understanding of the paranormal. Many of the women on my mother's side have gifts, including seeing, hearing, feeling and knowing things that are unexplainable. I even have a great aunt who was a professional psychic, some well-known celebrities among her clients. Although not as celebrated, there also seems to be a presence of gifts on my father's side. My paternal grandfather, who has now passed, had once claimed to have seen a young-looking ghost in a tracksuit walking through his house. My father has predicted the future from his dreams, and just plain good feelings as well. One story my father loves to retell happened when he was in his late 20s driving along a country road at night after a party at a friend's place out of town. My mother was in the passenger seat, and can also recall the memory well. My father hadn't been drinking, so he offered to give lifts home to the other guests at the party who were seated in the back seat. Everyone was chatting and laughing, including my father, so it was obvious to everyone in the car that he was fully awake and alert at the time the incident occurred. All of a sudden, my father started veering onto the wrong side of the road. Everyone in the car quietened, confused as to why my father would randomly start driving on the wrong side of the road. The way my father describes it is that he felt an urge so strong that driving onto the other side of the road was almost an involuntary act. The way he retells the feeling was somewhere between a gut feeling and the feeling of something else taking control of your movements. My mother was just about to ask what the hell he was doing, but as she opened her mouth to speak, a giant grey kangaroo jumped into the road, right where my father's car would have been if he was still on the right side of the road. To everyone's shock, my father exclaimed, "There he is!" He says that the moment he saw the kangaroo, his feeling and actions all made sense. When they passed the kangaroo, my father then calmly veered back onto the right side of the road and continued driving as if nothing had happened. Everyone in the car was completely stunned and sat in silence processing what just occurred. Eventually, one of my mother's friends piped up and said, what the fuck was that? They all laughed it off as some weird coincidence, joking that my father was a freak and they all must have an insane amount of luck. It was clear to everyone in the car that if my father hadn't been driving on the wrong side of the road, the kangaroo would have jumped out directly in front of the car. Having been a country road with a 100-kilometre speed limit and with giant gum trees lining both its sides, the consequences of hitting the animal or turning to avoid it would have been catastrophic, and honestly doesn't bear thinking about. But by some weird coincidence, an insane amount of luck or something else, my father and his bizarre act prevented horrors from unfolding that night. Me and my two sisters have inherited a lot of whatever is going on both sides of my lineage, which means that we were, and still are, creepy kids. Because our family has had so many experiences, the rest of this story will jump around a bit. According to my mother, my first paranormal experience happened at the park, at the bottom of our street in Sydney, Australia. The park has been a hospital for the insane, which opened in 1878, and was used to house and treat persons with mental illnesses until about 1994. Some of the buildings were repurposed, while others still stand abandoned. When I was a child, the park had become a popular place for people to walk their dogs, have picnics and stroll around, as the site was situated along the bayside and had picturesque trails. One morning, when I was about 3 years old, my mother, grandmother and I were walking around the grounds, with me in the lead. We came to a small bridge built above a gutter when I stopped dead in my tracks. My mother and grandmother asked me why I had stopped. I pointed up straight in front of us and said, "A man." My mother and grandmother looked at each other. There was no man. They tried to assure me that there was nobody there and I could cross the bridge, but I shook my head. Eventually they decided it was best to turn around and take another trail home so I would feel safe. And they couldn't be any more freaked out by my claims of the invisible man. Fast forward to when I got a bit older and started preschool. I would do and say even more creepy stuff. On my way into my preschool, I would wave to nothing on the balcony of the house next door. When my dad asked me who I was waving at, I would look at him funny and say in a tone that would suggest it was obvious, "The old man and the lady." For my parents, one of the scariest things that happened was when I suddenly began screaming and crying in the car on the way to preschool. I claimed I had just seen a little boy on a bike get hit by a car right in front of us at the lights. What's even weirder is that witnessing a car accident nobody else could see was something that happened to me again when I was much older. When I was 13 years old, our family relocated from Sydney to the Hunter Valley. My mum, dad, two sisters and I were driving along a country road on the way to our new house. I can't recall much detail because we were travelling at about 90 kilometres, but I remember we passed a truck and at least two cars that had obviously been in an accident and were on the side of the road. While driving past, I exclaimed, "Oh my God, did you see those cars? That looked like a really bad accident." The only response I got was one of confusion. Turns out nobody else in the car saw what I had seen. Being the teenager I was at the time, I thought everyone was just dumb and had missed it. But I know now my family were not as dumb as 13-year-old me thought, and they definitely would have seen a multi-vehicle accident on the side of the road if it had been there. As I've gotten older, my experiences with seeing and hearing things have changed. My most recent experience happened just a few weeks ago, in the house that my partner and I moved into earlier in the year. I woke in the middle of the night and saw a glowing entity hovering next to the window on the other side of the room. This figure was about the size of a man's hand. Its body was a thin line, kind of like a glow stick, and it had about 10 dragonfly-like wings, 5 on each side. When I noticed it, its wings started buzzing and it flew directly towards me. I screamed, and my boyfriend who was sleeping next to me shot up in bed, blocking my view of it. Thinking it was some kind of giant weird bug that was about to fly directly into my boyfriend's head, I tried to push him down. Amongst all the mayhem, my boyfriend managed to turn the light on, only to find there was nothing there. No bugs, no glow sticks, nothing like that could have explained what I had seen. I know there's a likelihood that I could have been half dreaming, or my sense of reality was off, having just woken up. But I know as soon as I saw that thing, I was wide awake. It wasn't a demon that morphed into a pile of clothes, or a man who morphed into a shirt hanging on the door. It was, well and truly, there. Although there are some common themes in the experiences my family and I have had, they are all so different as well. It just goes to show that you never know how or why gifts will manifest the way they do. Whether it be something you see, hear, feel, or just know. But one thing is for sure. My life and the lives of all of my family members would have been changed forever if my father hadn't have had his experience that night on the old country road. Honestly, that thought has just given me such heebie-jeebies. I mean, that whole story gave me heebie-jeebies because if you don't know, if you're like me, I guess I always just assumed that kangaroos were like relatively small. I know that some are. Let me tell you, kangaroos are fucking big. Like, they are hench. So if you hit a kangaroo at 100 kilometers per hour, like, game over for everybody involved. And your last line, like, really struck a chord because I was having a conversation with a friend recently about how, you know, we as humans, we are the sum of all of the decisions that have come before us. Like, everybody in our line made decisions that have resulted in us, and that makes my brain hurt. Like, if somebody had done one tiny thing differently, you might not exist. If your dad hadn't leaned into that feeling of driving on the wrong side of the road, like, that could have been disastrous, completely disastrous, and you might not be here writing this email. So obviously something was looking out for your dad. Do you know what I mean? Whether it was his own like psychic abilities, his intuition, his own brain power, or something other taking over and looking out for your dad and the rest of your family. Those stories always fill me with absolute amazement. And unfortunately, Ella, it does seem like you were pretty much a creepy kid, you know? Seeing a man in the grounds of an old lunatic asylum, brilliant, that nobody else can see. Seeing the old man and the lady screaming, crying, saying that you saw an accident. Seeing an accident when you were 13. I wonder, when you saw the accident when you were 13, right? Did your parents remember, or were they reminded of that moment when you were a child, when you were wailing in the car because you'd just seen a little boy on a bike getting hit? Like, did they go, oh shit, this is happening again? Or was it a kind of hindsight is always 2020 kind of thing? And as for your glow stick dragonfly, it's kind of the easiest way I can think to describe it. I've seen the kind of insects and shit they have in Australia, right? And I know Australians are probably sick of hearing it because it's just your day-to-day life. I would be praying that thing was paranormal. If I woke up and saw that, I'd be like, I need to know that thing is paranormal, because I do not want that to be a real live glow stick dragonfly flying towards my face.
Hey, Ryan Reynolds here from Mint Mobile. Now, I don't know if you've heard, but Mint's premium wireless is $15 a month. But I'd like to offer one other perk. We have no stores. That means no small talk. Crazy weather we're having. No, it's not. It's just weather. It is an introvert's dream. Give it a try at mintmobile.com/switch.
Upfront payment of $45 for 3-month plan, $15 per month equivalent required. New customer offer first 3 months only. Then full price plan options available. Taxes and fees extra. See mintmobile.com.
Jennifer Lawrence and Robert Pattinson star in Die, My Love, a ferocious portrait of a woman engulfed by love and madness. Lawrence and Pattinson play a passionate couple who, after moving to an isolated house in the country, find their relationship unraveling following the birth of their first child. Vanity Fair hails Lawrence's performance as astonishing, and Time calls it the kind of performance you go to the movies for. From director Lynn Ramsey, Die, My Love is only in theaters November 7th, rated R.
And our second story today comes from Louise. I'm a support worker. I supervise children with their parents when they have gone into foster care and cannot live with them due to safeguarding concerns. I've been doing this job for nearly 17 years. When I first started, my role was very different. I worked as a nursery nurse in a social day nursery looking after vulnerable children who were either on a children in need or child protection plan. When I started working there, I met a wonderful lady called Jackie. She was near my mum's age. She was so kind, showing me the ropes and taking me under her wing. Several months prior to me starting, she had lost her son to a rare form of bone cancer, but she tried to continue life without her youngest boy. About 18 months after I started, they reconstructed and closed the nursery and reopened it as a contact centre. I moved localities and only saw Jackie in passing or communicated through social media. A few years ago, I hear that she lost her husband very suddenly. As you can imagine, she was broken, already losing her son. Last week, I ran into another old work colleague and got to talking about old colleagues when she told me that Jackie had passed away. It had been nearly a year since she died. My old colleague said that after her husband died, Jackie was devastated and she believed Jackie died of a broken heart. I was utterly shocked and really upset by the news. but I wasn't able to think too much about it, as I was about to walk into a contact with a child and their family. Since then, Jackie has been in my thoughts. I tried to reach out to her surviving son to send my condolences, but I was unable to find him on social media. It's been about a week since I found out the news, and as I was going about my morning routine with the kids this morning, a dream that I had last night popped into my head. It was about Jackie. My dream consisted of me being back at nursery, and I was in my old room with the children. Just then, Jackie walked in. She looked happy and healthy. I burst into tears, ran over and hugged her. She and I both knew that she had died in the dream, but I think she was visiting me to say goodbye, as I hadn't been able to in real life. As sad as it is that she is no longer here, it makes me happy that she is reunited with her youngest son and her husband. Oh, and you know, those visitation dreams, they really do have a different quality. You know, those dreams where you see somebody and you know that they're dead in real life, and you're just overwhelmed with feelings of love and emotion and kind of a joy. Like, it's a really strange feeling. And I'm really glad that you got to have that dream about her. Like, it's awful to lose somebody, even if it's not somebody that you speak to every single day. But for that person to visit you in your dream, it just does give like a sense of closure and calm and a feeling of like, oh, you are okay. And Louise, I just want to say that I worked for a very long time alongside support workers and social workers. And you know what? Props to you guys, because social workers and support workers do not get the applause and the kudos they deserve, because my God, that is a tough job. That is a tough, tough job. It is thankless. It is difficult. It is often without any reward. And you guys do a lot of amazing work. Thank you so much for listening to today's episode. Thank you to Ella and Louise for sending in your stories. Remember, if you would like to send in your story, you can do so by emailing it to reallifeghoststoriespodcast@gmail.com. You can also check out the website, reallifeghoststoriespodcast.com. And if you are desperate for some extra content, you can subscribe to the Patreon. That is patreon.com/reallifeghoststories, where for $5 a month or for $2 a month, you can get access to heaps of extra content, as well as every single main and mini episode completely ad-free. And on that note, I shall see you next time.
Jennifer Lawrence and Robert Pattinson star in Die My Love, a ferocious portrait of a woman engulfed by love and madness. Lawrence and Pattinson play a passionate couple who, after moving to an isolated house in the country, find their relationship unraveling following the birth of their first child. Vanity Fair hails Lawrence's performance as astonishing, and Time calls it the kind of performance you go to the movies for. From director Lynn Ramsey, Die My Love is only in theaters November 7th, rated R.